Hey everybody. I recently decided to get back into speedrunning on a whim, and this is the first run that I did of Super Mario Sunshine, any percent no ace. Just to like get a time, see where I'm at currently after having not played for 12 years. Isn't that crazy? The last speedrun I did was in 2014. That's actually still up on the channel. I had like 80% times that I posted at some point. And they're still there. You can still watch them. They're really bad quality, but you know, they exist. The record's there. And because this is new for my channel, I do want to try to explain some stuff. I'm going to act like you don't know anything about Mario Sunshine speedrunning. So starting off, we have the airstrip split, even though there's no split for it anymore. Back when I used to run this game in 2014, you just like select a new file, started the time, and then you watch all the cutscenes that happen before the airstrip split and after the airstrip split with like no qualms, like you just did it. At some point, they decided there should be options to skip those, and for whatever reason, the game will save like a flag to be like, did you watch this cutscene before? And like under normal play, I don't know why you would ever rewatch a cutscene. But evidently the game keeps track of it. So like you watch a cutscene and the game's like, all right, you've watched this cutscene before, so you can skip the cutscene now. So you can make what's called a hacked file by using some cheat codes to make a save where you don't collect any shine sprites, but you've watched those opening cutscenes before and after the airstrip, like directly before and directly after, which saves you about 6 minutes of time per run. And you just add that to the front of the timer, which is why we started at about 5 minutes 40 seconds on the clock. And then we do airstrip as normal. You can tell that I'm very rusty. I didn't practice at all going into this. The only practice I did was for a new trick that didn't exist when I ran the game. And then on top of that, I did do a casual 120 shines playthrough just to test the new disc that I bought, because I bought a Japanese copy to start speedrunning. And I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to like error on me at any point. So like I had like that casual playthrough and then like that little bit of practice on the new trick, and like that was it. So my movement is more or less rusty. Obviously I played Sunshine recently enough. You know, I played Eclipse not too long ago. And then before that, I'd also Let's Played Sunshine on the channel, so I'm not so bad, so rusty that I just look like I don't know what I'm doing, but you know, it's very evident. Getting into Bianco Hills, I completely missed early M, but that's okay. I didn't expect to get that. If you don't know what that is, it's just the M graffiti that acts as a portal into Bianco Hills. If you spray it during the little cutscene, like before it activates, you can activate it so you can teleport in here faster. And I just didn't hit it, so I had to spray it afterwards, but you lose like very little time, so it's not a big deal. And then, of course, one of the first big skips of the game, you can skip the first shine sprite because PD and his shine sprite are just here in the first episode, so you can just come up here and do it. Now, I do want to mention that I'm playing this on a real Wii. It is homebrewed so that you can play a Japanese disc on an American console. If you're confused about how that would work, there's like just a game loader that regen unlocks it, if you will. And this is otherwise, of course, the GameCube version. This is not the 3D All-Stars version. I do think the 3D All-Stars version is faster by like a tiny bit, or maybe not even a tiny bit. I think it just has faster load times, and that makes it just faster. I don't know about how much. I don't know exactly by how much though. I've never looked into it. Either way, I didn't really want to play that version. And between the the American and the PAL version of the GameCube version. The Japanese version is faster by like a little bit because it has both fast enough text, faster than English text anyway, and it also has faster loads into Delfino Plaza, which adds up over the course of any percent to save you time. It's only like a 20-second difference or something like that, maybe 15 over the slowest version being American. So as you do larger or longer categories, something like 79 shines or 120 shines, then the time difference really starts to add up. But we finished up Bianco 2 with like little trouble. I flubbed a little bit on doing the actual PD fight, but you know, that's time saved for next run, right? Once I actually try to polish some stuff. I was having a real bad time trying to do the early movement in Bianco. Like the starting movement where you do the hover slide. Was not wanting to do that consistently at all. I think I don't even know what happened. I think my early run, I was just like, I wasn't warmed up yet. And then eventually I kind of warmed up a bit and I smoothed out. And then the ending, oh. Either way, we get into Bianco 3. I completely failed the beginning. I don't remember at all any of the movement. I don't even know if I ever knew the movement. I can't remember if I ever learned it or not. But the movement I was going for did not work. So we end up with a probably subpar time. For reference, my previous PB was evidently an hour 49 minutes and some odd seconds. I think it was like 48 or something like that. You know, it was in the high 49 minutes, latter half of that. And I didn't speedrun it for very long. I spent maybe like 3-ish months or something like that, off and on speedrunning. And I was never particularly tapped in or very good, so all of my random esoteric knowledge is just that, random and esoteric. Like, a lot of my, what I'm going to say is probably going to be things I've either picked up from playing over the years or just educated guesses. So this is setting up for another skip. I believe it's called Travel Skip, where you get done fighting that piranha plant and then you enter Bianco as the cutscene plays, which skips the cutscene. And you save like a little bit of time. I can't believe I got it, honestly. It's like a pretty tight time window to get that trick. Yeah, look at that. Ugh. Gross. I'm gonna say it, that's never happened to me before. First times for everything. For the red coin missions, I most of the time didn't remember what I was doing in terms of the routing. This is one of the ones I remember the most in terms of like which red coins you get in what order. Or at least this is what the route used to be, I'm pretty sure. Again, I didn't update any of my routing besides looking to see if the route as a whole in terms of like shine order changed, which it didn't, surprisingly. But for, you know, red coins and just like individual level routing, hell if I know. It's like semi-casual that the way I'm doing it. And then thankfully I don't fall off here. Yeah, I don't fall off. So something else worth mentioning, I was using an auto splitter so that I have really consistent and repeatable split times. I think it's just superior to trying to do it manually. Though doing the final frame, not so easy. So I do the last one manually. which is okay. It also feels good to do the last one manually, so it works out. So we wrap up Bianco Hills round 1. That's what the BHR1 stands for. With doing Bianco 5, which is the PD refight. This is a very RNG heavy fight, as far as I know. Like, my understanding is that you either get a good pattern where PD stops in like the right spots that are very fast, or he just like flies all over the place and wastes a bunch of your time. I get a pretty bad pattern, and I also just play badly, if I recall correctly. It's been like a day-ish, day and a half since I recorded this. But I don't think my memory's gone that bad yet. So in the first PD fight, you can like stand to the side of him and he'll like turn and then open his mouth to spray goop at you, and it's very consistent. This PD fight, I have never been sure how you get him to always open his mouth, or if that's even a thing. It might just not be. I think you either stand like corner to him, like diagonally, or you just have to like get lucky. I'm not sure which one it is. But either way, I was kind of like feeling it out during this fight, and it was not going the best. I was trying to be like, let me stand in the corner. And then it worked here. And I was like, cool. I guess I'll just keep doing that. And then after this, like, it kind of derailed, both because I played badly and, well, actually entirely because I played badly. And then he also went over there in the corner, which is not where you want him to go, really. I guess it's like okay, but nah. And then I actually got like him to open his mouth, but then I didn't fill him up correctly. And after you don't fill him up correctly, I think you have to stand to the side to make him turn. Yeah, just bad times all around. And then I was trying to do a backflip here. If you hold down R and then press A, you can do a backflip. And I just kept spam spraying, which is where you press A and then R, like basically at the same time. And so you jump before you end up spraying, right? So like the inputs are very similar, and I just was not doing the right one. So then I end up side flipping and somehow hitting him before the generous time limit is up. Oh boy. So as we leave Bianco, we go to Gelato because the cutscene plays, and I believe the idea here is we don't want cutscenes to play as much as possible because they waste time. And so every time you go back to the Delphine Plaza, if there's a plaza event, then they'll play a cutscene to be like, do this event, do this event, do this event. And so doing it as fast as possible just works for the routing and saves us future cutscenes at least a little bit. There's not really much to say about the little fight here. It's like every other one of these guys. And then at the end, I like to try and do this little water slide to make Mario get closer to the lighthouse. If you do it at exactly the right time, then you can be like perfectly positioned in front of the M to just kind of like spray and hop up. I never get it right though. I've never made like a setup for it or anything. Now I don't even know if anyone does that. Like, I don't know if it saves time or not, but I went a little bit too far and then I freaked out with my inputs for some reason and did a bunch of backflips. I was trying to do span sprays and then I ended up doing backflips. How ironic. So Gelato Beach is infamous. If you don't know, the last episode shine, the 8th episode shine, is just sitting in this little juice blender here in the hut. Every episode. It's just there every episode. And so if you could clip in there, you could get it, right? And there's a way to clip in there. And we lovingly refer to it as Gelato Beach Skip, because it skips like the entirety of it, basically, right? Of the whole level, the whole world. I nearly get it first try, and then I completely flub it. You have to, like, use this coconut to... Well, what's the best way to put it? You have to use the coconut to, like, push you through the ceiling collision of the roof. And then while you're inside of the roof, you can hover through it at just the right angle because it's kind of sloped to get between the little blender on the top there and the tank, and then like drop down into the tank. The timing, as far as I know, is kind of tight. This is literally a 2014 strat. Like, I have never looked at this ever again, so this might be just outdated in terms of how you do it. I'm not really sure. You grab the little ledge of the hut to be able to press L to like center your camera behind you and get the right angle to run against the coconut. And then as long as you're jumping or hovering with your control stick being held like straight back or straight forward, then you can keep your angle without much issue. Yeah, I spent a while here. I just kept not doing Gelato Beach Skip correctly, and I kept losing my coconut. It was a time. Again, the good news is that this is free time save once I just get my shit together. But yeah, we're gonna be here for a while. And while we're here, I do want to mention the reason I'm even recording this. Like, I have a no commentary version in a playlist with all the other speedruns I've done, which are also no commentary. And that's just kind of like a proof video where it's like, you don't have to listen to my voice. You can just see the gameplay and hear the sounds of the game audio. If you prefer that, I'll link it in the description. 20 minutes in, a little bit late to mention that, but that's okay. We have a good chance to now. Anyway, the reason I'm recording commentary for it is because I like the idea of doing a post-mortem, as it were, on the run, to be like, what do I notice that I could improve upon? And I mean, you can improve upon like everything because it's the first run. But then that gives me an excuse to introduce it to my channel and explain stuff, right? And I don't know if I'm going to do one for every, like, commentate every run that I do, every PB. I haven't decided yet, but regardless, that was the idea behind it, is like, I want to kind of share my thoughts and things that were happening during the run and then analyze it at the same time. Give me an excuse to rewatch it. And perhaps make it more palatable if my commentary adds watching value to someone, right? So yeah, I think we get it here soon. Like, I spend like 6 minutes here. And it's like a 2-minute split. Like, you should not be spending that much time here, but... Is this it? Is this the time? Nope. I want to talk about something else, please. Please pass me. So yeah, obviously I need to practice this. And I also need to see if there's new strats. I need to like update my strat book. Not that I had much of a strat book before, but... Oh, here we go. I actually didn't think that was going to work at the time. I do remember that. And then it worked. So I was like, okay, we'll take it. And so, yeah, now that we've done episode 8, quote unquote, similar to when you do episode 2 in Bianco, it just like unlocks the next shine, or in this case, the previous shines. Like, they exist, and you can just choose whichever one you want. And so we can go straight to episode 7, because the win condition for Super Mario Sunshine is you have to beat the Shadow Mario in every world, which is always episode 7. And then you unlock the final boss, right? And so any time that we can skip to episode 7 or take a shorter path to getting to episode 7, it's just faster. There's not a lot of that, though. For the most part, you just play all the levels, which is kind of surprising. This game is like really, really busted, but the one part that would really help the routing has held firm for the most part. Gelato Beach skip's like the most egregious skip that we have, the largest skip that we have, so. But it does make the run cooler and take less time. And so from here we go to Pianta Village, because we're done with Gelato Beach now. We never have to go back to there. And Pianta Village is, you know, on the way, as it were. It's right next to Gelato Beach, and you can get to it without the rocket nozzle by doing that fancy movement where you Y turn with the first person camera, which we call Y cam, because you press Y to access it. And therefore, if you're turning with first person camera, you do what's called a Y turn, right? And so you can Y turn your jump into the wall of the Shine Gate and wall jump off of it and get just enough height to hover back into the place. I'm sure there's probably a faster way to do it. Like, maybe you can do something with a triple jump or whatever, but that's how I've always done it, and I'm not changing now. So this level, I'm pretty sure the RNG here is just different, because when the last time I ran this on a North American copy, right? I'm pretty sure that the RNG for the chomplets is just different. Like, they spawn different locations and stuff like that. And I was kind of thrown off. So I just kind of like winged it. And then I pause here because the Shine Sprite has like a delayed spawn. And if you pause and unpause, it spawns it immediately. Ideally, you would be really close to that mushroom so that you can pause much faster and skip more of that waiting time, but you know. And then Pianta 2. Our first Piantissimo race. All the races are basically just auto-scrollers because you have to wait for Piantissimo to finish, and he's really slow, comparatively anyway, to how fast you can go as the player. Now, I definitely do not do this very fastly. I tried to read the sign. I know there's some weird tech you can do with reading that sign, and it makes Piantissimo's text at the end of the race go faster. I have no idea how it actually works, though. I was like, I'll just read the sign for the heck of it. And I don't think it made a difference, but again, it's an auto-scroller, so it didn't waste any time. Like, he still moves while that sign's being read, so it didn't hurt, at the very least. And then we collect our shine. Now, Pianta 3 is a level. It's like really short and easy if you don't mess it up. That's like the entire game, right? Just if you don't mess it up, it's really easy and really short. Unfortunately, I am rusty. Fun fact, I have zero recollection on how to do this bridge movement. And also, that pole had a wider hitbox than it really should have had. And so I lose all of my wins. And the wins you're usually supposed to hit you into the lava, so you have iframes and can do a quick little dive, roll out jump, or spin jump rather, and like clear the gap into the railings of those mushrooms. And then you just like go straight to where you need to go. I then tried to use a backup Goomy that spawned nearby, and then he missed me by like a tiny bit. So I decided to come over here and do it the old-fashioned way, where you just like go up this little tree and then jump over. I probably could have gone back and gotten a wind, but either way I was losing time, and I was like, I might as well do a safer strat. Because if you mess up the lava thing, you just die. Like, the lava is very unforgiving. And the iframes are tight with the way that I do it anyway. So there's a nice little spot to save a lot of time. I can if I just played like really clean, like if I didn't update any of my strats at all, none of my movement or anything, and I just played a lot cleaner, I could shave off like 10 or 15 minutes, which is crazy to think about. The Big Chain Chomp is a weird mission. I don't know the full details behind it. I think when you're holding onto this chain, if you spam your center camera button, the L button, it makes him go faster. I don't know how accurate that is. It's just like a memory that I have. So I was like, what the heck? It can't hurt. And we got like good RNG. He can start in 1 of 3 paths, and that's like the best path. And then he always goes the opposite direction or the other direction of where you are. So you can block his path to make him go the way you want. And then when you stand opposite of the little hot tub area here, he'll go in towards the hot tub, and you can cool him off and grab his chain. If you do it right, he just like instantly jumps into the hot tub. You like instantly win. I flubbed it like a tiny bit, but we kind of recovered pretty easily. Overall, I'd say that was actually a pretty solid split. Now, Pianta 5 is normally something you need Yoshi for. You're supposed to have gone to Pinna Park already, unlocked Yoshi. And there's like this orange, what's the official name for it? Is it a juice generator? Something like that. That orange stuff right there on that mushroom. You're supposed to use Yoshi to clean it off. However, Super Mario Sunshine is really jank, and that tree just doesn't have collision right there. So you can walk through it, ledge grab the mushroom, and then go down a little bit and hover through it. And then you just clip into where the loading zone is for the secret. And I believe it's called a Yoshi skip when you do that. It's like, it's a hard trick until you have a consistent setup, and then it's not that bad. It's easy to flub, but I had no such skill issues here in this run. And here, this might be another thing where the Japanese version is faster. I think that that brown Pianta tends to be further back in Japanese version compared to other versions. And so if you're really fast, if you're skilled and goated, and maybe even have good luck, I don't know how RNG dependent it is, you might be standing far back enough to where you can get him to throw you like instantly. I had to wait though. I wasn't confident in where he was at the time. And so I waited for him to do his little wraparound. He does randomly stop, and I think you can like bounce on his head before he stops to make him not stop, but whatever I did, it was not correct. And then when he throws you, there's a thing with Chucksters where they throw you, and if you mash the Y button, which is your first person camera button, right? It like turns around the throw angle and makes effectively him throw you backwards. And so we don't have to like wait even longer for him to be facing the right way or anything like that. You can just talk to him and go, mash Y, and he throws you the right direction. And we can wrap up that shine pretty easily. This mission is just a cleanup mission. You have to clean up all of the goop off of the Piantas here. There's 10 of them. You don't have to talk to them or anything. And I think I have the route correct, at least as far as I know. I believe this is what the route is. You start with that Pianta and you go around in like a big circle. And I like vaguely remembered while I was doing the run that there's like this tech where you do the backflip, which is also a spam spray, right? To like clean off the rest of the goop faster, essentially. And then you can also, of course, because you're backflipping, do like the little dive out of it to get a nice little head start on your next movement. And I used it all right. I wouldn't say it was the amazing effect, but it is what it is. There's also like a little bit of time when the Pianta comes out of the ground that they can't be cleaned off. And so you can use that to like try and get other Piantas to come out of the ground if they're close enough by and save a little bit of time. And then I spray the mayor because the mayor is running around, and if you spray him, he stops. And so it makes it easier to talk to him. Overall, I would say that was probably a bad time. Pretty sure you can do that like at least 30 seconds faster. I feel like that was bad. Once I've done enough runs, I'll have an instinctual knowledge of what's good and what's bad. Right now, I'm kind of like, yeah, I think that's bad. It doesn't feel good anyway. And now we have our second Shadow Mario. The Shadow Mario levels are all really easy. I know that there's ways to get quick kills on Shadow Mario, and I don't know what any of them are. Like, I don't know what any of the setups are or anything like that. And so I just kind of do it normally. If you're really skilled, you can kill him relatively quickly like I did there, where you just like are hitting him the whole time. And then it's just over with. I would say my success record on these episode 7 Shadow Marios are 50-50. Sometimes I just kind of kill them quickly. The other times I'm like not killing him quickly. Let's put it that way. So here we move on to Pinna Park. Pinna Park has a cutscene where you have to watch Shadow Mario taunt normal Mario. And you can skip this cutscene, but it involves you dying using the out of bounds area, because if you're standing out of bounds for like more than a second, you just die. And so you clip out of bounds, and then you die in the same frame that you activate the cutscene, which then skips it. I don't know what the setup for that is. I've never learned that. And it existed back when I did runs. Just like Gelato Beach Skip did. But I think both it and Gelato Beach Skip were basically really recent in terms of like having good setups. And of course, that skip is not all that necessary. You don't lose too much time. You lose like, what, 30 seconds or something? So I just never bothered to learn it. I probably will continue not to bother to learn it until quite a bit later. And then here there's another cutscene where you see Mecha Bowser appear. But if you enter the cutscene as you exit area, it skips the cutscene. And you can't do that in Delfino Plaza because you can't exit area in Delfino Plaza. But thankfully, this cutscene is both easy to skip and skippable because it's like the longest one in the game that's not the intro cutscenes. I somehow get that long range snipe. My snipes are all fields based here, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. The tech here though is, as far as my understanding goes, the bottle rockets that you use kind of go in like a random direction unless you are free firing, as in you're holding down the R button a little bit. This is an analog button, right? So if you hold it down like a little bit so that you're spraying like a little bit of water, it won't fire the rocket until you digital press, which is all the way in. And then it goes straight every time when you do that. And then we can skip another cutscene for the ending by just doing the exit area again. And I tried to do fancy movement where you like do a little jump and then spin jump off of the ledge of the pool. And I somehow got a wall slide on like the tiny little edge, and I ended up wall kicking into a dive, which I noticed and then ground pounded. But how that happened, hell if I know. This level has always perplexed me. There's normally supposed to be this whole thing you do with this mole where you throw bombs at him. But you can skip it by like diving into the cannon where he is. And sometimes he has collision and you just get hurt. And then other times he just doesn't. And I don't know what the difference is. All I know is that sometimes when you come up here and you do that little side flip dive, it works, and other times it doesn't. So that's maybe something I eventually figure out, like what exactly is going on there. So how can I become more consistent at it? As of right now, though, it's basically RNG for me. That's how I feel about it. And I'm pretty sure you can get up to that second platform, but exactly how? Not entirely sure. And because I bonked, I was a little bit too slow to make this cycle. This level is famously cycle locked. You have to kind of wait for the cycles to line up. So like you only have to be so good to get a good time in this level. And that was not a good pace. Like even for me, like I can make that first cycle that I missed, but I was I was just testing out to see if I could even get up there with that spin jump dive. Did not work. And a 3. So is this what I'm thinking of? This is, right? Yeah. So here I thought I was doing pin of 4, and I was like, wait a second, this doesn't look right. And I realized I was doing pin of 3. So the most random time loss of all time. And then this is where I'm talking about the reds, where I just don't know what the route is supposed to be anymore. And so I just kind of freestyled the route. And it was kind of slow because I just did it badly. And then it probably also is just slow, but you can do some maneuvers with hovering in these grates where, like, if you're hanging off of a grate, you can let go of it and then instantly hover. And then by doing so, you can kind of like go from underneath a grate to on top of a grate without having to like do anything else. Normally that's what you would do there with that red coin, but I was too low on my hover. So I was able to grab the coin, but then I just fell. But up here, it's like pretty much foolproof. You climb all the way up and then you do the little hover trick to skip all those electric Koopas. And here we get to one of the most important levels in the game, normally, in a 4. This is the episode where you unlock Yoshi, which is a gatekeeper for a few things, at least casually speaking. Gatekeeps a few blue coins, a few shines, a whole world. Again, casually speaking anyway. In terms of the speedrun, still gatekeeps a few things. And so it's very important that we do it. I was trying to one cycle here with these, I don't even remember what these things are called. These like Koopa looking things. Yoshi Koopas. Yoshi egg Koopas. One cycle is just you kill all of them in one cycle before the cutscene plays to be like, oh, the sunflower's strength is returning. Instead, I get a 2-cycle, a slow 2-cycle. I was having trouble getting these guys to kind of line up nicely. But I don't remember what the setup is to get a 1-cycle, so I was kind of freestyling it again, and it almost worked. I was just like a little bit off on both my aim and getting them to stay in the right spots. If you get them close enough together, you can get like multiple 1 ground pound. And I was not doing that. Either way, not too bad. And Yoshi is very important because he's used for his own skip. Which sounds weird, but this is a skip that didn't exist when I ran the game back in 2014. And so I had to learn it for this run. This was the only thing that I specifically practiced before I did this run. There's 2 versions of it. You can either do it in episode 5 or episode 3. Episode 3 is faster because the enemies you usually move faster. And so I was like, we'll just do it in episode 3. It's fine. And it skips episode 5 essentially because you're accessing episode 6 here in episode 3 or episode 5 if you do it in there. 1 shine early, right? And you have to use Yoshi, so you have to do episode 4. And so you can't skip more than just that 1 shine, but still worth doing. It saves like, what, a minute if you do it well. So essentially you pick up fruits from the beach. You want a papaya, which is the closest fruit to the gate. You throw it into the gate, and that's a load zone, right? Like you would take you into the park normally. And so you get these stews to come over here. You want 2 of them, and you want them to be separated so that you can interact with one of them unimpeded. And so normally you just get one to attack you pretty far back like that, and you get the other one to go into the spot you want. And when it's just high enough off the ground, they can't be too high or too low or it doesn't work. You can use them to clip through the wall here into the park. And then you need the other one to come over and become a platform with the purple Yoshi, which makes the platform go horizontally, right? And you can ride that platform over to the carousel. And of course, you also need then the papaya to turn orange so that you can actually get the carousel to activate and bring you into the episode 6 secret. It's like, it sounds complicated, and it kind of is, but then I find performing it to not be that bad. Like, it's really easy to mess up if you like accidentally kill one of your stews. And then you're just kind of screwed. You have to like reset the level or go and find a different stew and try to do it again. And so it's like, it's punishing to mess up, but I think executing it is not that bad. Maybe my opinion will change, but with where I am right now, of course, I found Gelato Beach Skip harder. So I think that's interesting. Either way, the reason you need the second Yoshi platform, the second enemy, is because there's an invisible wall there around where the stairs are inside the park. And when you're standing on the platform, you just kind of go through the invisible wall. I don't really know why. My guess would be is the invisible wall only stops you when you're moving your control stick, right? If you're inputting movement. And that's when it checks to do are you hitting an invisible wall? Whereas if you're standing still but moving on a moving platform, it doesn't do that check, and therefore you just go through the wall, right? That'd be my guess, my educated guess. And then also the secret itself is not the easiest secret in the world. Like, it's not that bad, but it's easy to mess up on those like egg blocks, or to like just flub the last jump up into the shine. But we made it work, and we get our third Shadow Mario. It's funny because most of the time when I play this game, I play to do 120 shines, just like casually speaking, right? And so I'm used to like random bits of 120 shine speedrun tech where like, oh, you spam spray the bird at the beginning of the park at 101 or whatever. And then I have to like think about it and be like, no, you don't do that because we're not doing 120 shines. Things I have to just ignore. I have to build an autopilot for any percent. Now, Rico Harbor, I'm trying to decide what I think is the hardest world in the game based on my current skill level and understanding of the game. Rico Harbor stands up there for me, like, but then again, you don't really do a lot. Like, episode 4 is kind of difficult. Huh. No, probably not. It's gotta be either Pianta or Serena Beach, maybe. I could see Noki Bay. Noki Bay is kind of weird. I bet you the real hardcore speedrunners are saying either Serena or Bianco. So the blooper fight is really easy. I flubbed a little bit on it, but there's like a weird window of time where like he does his attack after you spray his face. He does his little tentacle slam, and if you grab his nose like after it, he won't attack you, even though you're just tugging on his nose, right? I don't fully understand the details anymore. I think at one time I might have known, but I've forgotten. I tend to just kind of spray his face and then grab his nose and hope for the best after he does his little slam. And sometimes I just flub the inputs to do it correctly. Or sometimes he does like the weird like cross slam attack that he does where he like crosses his tentacles, and that hits me if I don't do like a backflip or whatever. And so it gets weird, but otherwise it's not a particularly hard fight. Now here, normally you would ride like the blooper and do the blooper surfing into this little area. If you're skilled, you can kind of go off the side there and do a Y-turn, hover into this little loading zone, and it's just fine. I've never been good at it. But if you're diligent enough, you can just recover it and it's fine. And then I don't know, I'm pretty sure doing it blooperless, the race is faster. At the very least, it's more fun, in my humble opinion. There's like 2 checkpoints that you have to hit. One of them's on that corner that we just went to, and then the other one's on like the side of this little roof over here, right here. And so if you hit both of those checkpoints, then you can finish the race. And because you're just going over the walls, you cut off a lot of the track. And I think hover sliding is maybe faster than going on blooper. Or water sliding in general. But frankly, I'm not sure. I haven't checked in to see what the math is. And I also don't know if the way that I do it is faster. Like I might be slower than doing it on a blooper. Either way though, it's not like it's so slow that you couldn't get the super secret shine sprite for getting the fast time of 40 seconds. So fast. So this is one of the shortest shrines in the game. You just come over there and get the shrine. Timing the hover to like get up into the cage is actually moderately difficult. If you're like really rusty, or you've just never done it before, it can be kind of deceptive, especially if you have input lag of any kind. Like if you're playing the 3D All-Stars pre-patch, I don't know if they patched it or not, but it has like a weird input delay, and that can really mess with you. So here, I missed a spin jump going over here, which is like kind of slow, but then I wall jump up here just fine. Sometimes I don't get that wall jump, and then it's just really sad. And the secret, I think this is one of the harder secrets in the game, both casually and in the speedrun. And especially because I'm just doing it casually as the speedrun. About the only thing I do that's kind of weird is I do a little jump to get to this cog. But I mean, otherwise, I was kind of taking my time on these. I didn't really want to die and lose a bunch of time. So I was like, I'd rather, if I'm going to lose time anyway, I might as well do it a little bit slowly and then overall save time, hopefully. And we end up clearing this just fine. Sometimes the angles on like, especially like the big spinning thing are weird, and you get like a slope slide, and then you're having a bad time. And then next mission, we have the very original loop refight. It's PD Piranha all over again. You fight him once in episode 1/2, and then you fight him again in episode 5. Unlike the PD fight though, this one's like even less changed. Like PD Piranha is the same, but at least he flies around this time, right? And has like a new attack with the tornado. The blooper is like the exact same fight. I get knocked off by the little blooper there, and I was kind of perplexed by it. I was pretty sure that a water slide just kills everything. Guess not, though. Either way, we make it over to the platform, the helipad. And he does like his little tentacle spin here to open the fight, which is different. I'll give him that, but you can like interrupt it immediately. And then I'm so rusty, and I don't know what the like spots are to how far you have to pull his nose. So I kind of just go until I hear him start to do his little, oh, it really hurts noise, which is like the noise of, yeah, you're about to, like you're good to let go, right? In this fight in particular, though, I'm also pretty sure it's like just outside like that little ring. And so I was kind of letting go a little bit early and it just paid off. It worked out. A little helipad ring. And just like that, we're almost done with Rico Harbor. Rico Harbor goes by pretty quickly, actually. But we're not getting out with that episode 6. And episode 6 is questionable, to say the least. This is one of those shines where I'd be curious to see if there's a new strat or a new route. Because I just do them in reverse order, how you'd theoretically do it casually. And it's like, it's okay, but I don't love it. Maybe the new route is harder though, and maybe maybe I don't want there to be a new route. I ended up going like kind of the wrong way at the beginning. I was kind of, for whatever reason, my brain was like, what do I do? What do I do? And I ended up going to the left instead of the right at the beginning, but I recovered it. And I'm so rusty at blooper surfing. Like it just felt weird being on the blooper. So that's something I'll have to like get used to again over time. And so I slowed down at the end there to make sure I wasn't going to bump into anything. If you don't know, the green blooper, because it has the slowest max speed, or not, sorry, they all have the same max speed, but it has the slowest like normal speed if you're not using the stick. Because it has the slowest speed when you're not using the stick, if you're holding the stick in neutral, you can't die even when you bump into something. And so I let go of the stick a little bit to like slow down and make sure I take those last turns a little bit safely. And then sometimes jumping into the shine could be tricky. Like sometimes you land on a different blooper and you take off again, and it can be a whole disaster, but fourth Shadow Mario. I actually did like a decent job. I know you can kill him like extremely fast on the ramp up to the ship. I just didn't. I don't exactly know what the strat is to do that. Here we end up going to Bianco again. It works well with the route. And there's only 2 shines we need to clean up here. Wow, it's like the only time I did that correctly. Amazing. Regardless, as far as I know, the only real strat here, at least when in the macro idea, is you get a nice water slide on this area to like get a nice momentum off of the ledge here to put you in the prime position to get up into the cave. And I had a really weird spray around the corner that just like gave me nothing, so I had to like redo it. Now, this secret I also think is one of the harder ones in the game. It's just awkward. Like in a vacuum, it's not that bad, but it's really easy to mess up on. Like sometimes you're on the cube and then you just take it a little bit wrong and you just fall off. Or sometimes you just don't clear a jump. And I definitely think the Bianco 6 is a reset heavy area. At least for beginners. And probably intermediate players as well. This is like the first death I took, right? This is the first one I remember anyway. And I just got like a weird jump. I really don't know what happened. I think now that I'm remembering a little bit, I think the spin jump I did was weird. Like it felt weird when I was inputting it. And I thought I was going to go into a different direction. And I was kind of waiting to see what was going to happen. And then I was like, oh, I'm going in the right direction. And the thing is if you dive after doing the spin jump, then you kind of don't get anything out of it. And so I just didn't have enough distance and height to clear the jump, right? Whereas if you dive like as you do the spin jump, like like that more or less, then you get like extra height and more distance off of it. And so if I had done that, I would have cleared the jump. I just I didn't, and so I paid the price. All right, episode 7. We have another Shadow Mario. I know this one, there's like a really quick kill where you can kill him like literally instantly. And there's like a weird spam spray technique for it. I was gonna like attempt it just for fun. And then this happened. Again, it's never happened to me before. And then I get him like really quickly after that. So it turned out okay, I'd say. But now, coming out of Serena, or I mean out of Bianco Hills, as far as I remember, this is when you pick up the Yoshi egg. And if you're good, you just kill him like right here. And there's a banana right above him. And Yoshi, when you first unlock him like this from Shadow Mario, always wants a banana. And so it's like a really fast unlock. And then you just like use Yoshi to go into Serena Beach. And it's nice and easy. Instead, I end up killing him back there. So I have to like kind of backtrack a little bit to get this banana. And then it was being a little bit weird. But we ended up getting it eventually. And here I was like, I'm going to throw the banana. And I shouldn't have jumped. I threw it right past him. And I kid you not, my last PB had like the exact same sequence of events. I killed him behind the Serena entrance like that over there in that area. I threw the banana past the thing. Like, it's funny how little things have changed in 12 years. All right, now Serena Beach. Oh, by the way, up until now, I was behind my PB. Even though I don't have the splits for it anymore. And I wasn't going to recreate them because they're both different and I was just lazy. I was behind my PB. I did check. Because I was curious. I was like, I wonder what I was doing or how I was doing. And I was behind my PB until we get to Serena Beach. I start to overtake my PB here, which is interesting to me. Because my PB had like a first try Gelato Beach skip. It had a lot of other first try stuff. It was like just kind of solid. So I find it interesting. I was like gaining time on it somewhere, or just like slowly over the course of the run with like maybe a slightly better movement or whatever. I think this Manta fight went okay, I guess. I don't remember what the strategies are at all, if there even is one. So the mantas were kind of all over the place. And it took longer than I would have liked. It didn't feel particularly good. They're also kind of hard to hit sometimes. Like if they're right next to you and you're not facing like directly at them, sometimes it's hard to spray them. And then we finally end it. And I bonk into the sign twice for good measure. That sign has a deceptively large hitbox, as I discovered. Yeah, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, yeah, Serena just sucks. Serena Beach just kind of sucks. Everything we've done so far, I'm like, yeah, it's not that bad. But this Arena Beach, ugh, gross. Manta's not fun. Neither of the secrets are all that fun. I'd say Serena 2 is actually like, at least casually speaking, pretty difficult. One of the more difficult ones in the game. And then Serena 4 is, I wouldn't say it's that difficult, but if you want to do it fast, it's not the easiest thing in the world. I think Serena 2 might ironically get easier if you know how to do it fast. But I don't, so we take it nice and slow here. I was playing like extra slow because I was like, I know I'm rusty and I don't want to die if I can help it. There's some fun nuance with the jumps there, where normally if you bonk your head into one of those bricks to break it, you just like fall down like a stone. But if you spin afterwards, you can like save your height and then go into a wall with enough speed to get another wall jump, and it's like a little bit faster. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. This cog sucks ass. It's so awkward to ride, and I wasn't sure when to get off of it. And so I was playing it extra safe, which almost backfired. But I ended up getting off of it. And then you can kind of just like dive roll out off the top of the sand right there. Somehow got through that one without a death. We'll take it. Now, as far as I'm aware, the Shadow Mario... Oh, I forgot about that. I was trying to like dive into the pipe for fun, like bonk into the pipe, and I accidentally dove too soon and just went straight over it. And that was awkward. Anyway, the Shadow Mario that appears that's holding, I think, the turbo nozzle. And then there's one after that holds the rocket nozzle. I don't think we get either of those. I didn't remember doing that anyway, so I just didn't. Hopefully that's the correct. Now, Serena 3 is pretty infamous casually because you have a whole wild goose chase to find this damn pineapple. But it's also one of the most busted things in the game because you can take a banana and you can use it to clip through the glass up here. You have to be like, I think, a certain amount away from the wall and then time your throw just right. And it might also be quarter frame dependent. So if you pause, you might need to pause it 3 more times. I frankly don't know the details, but I just kind of do it a few times and eventually it works. But it makes a nice short and sweet shine. I'd say outside of actually getting the clip to work, the hardest part is getting the wall jumps up to get to the spot where you do the clip, right? Sometimes you just get like a bad height or a bad angle, and it's for whatever reason it becomes really hard to recover. This runs like the Pandora's box run, where like sometimes I do some things just like really clean, really nice for where I'm at my skill level, and then other times I'm like flub all over the place. So Serena 4, normally you have to do like a bunch of stuff in the casino to eventually reveal the secret pipe, right? But you can do a tasty wall jump and kind of grab onto this invisible ceiling. And then there's normally an invisible wall up there, but you can like sidestep past it for whatever reason. Like if you into the sidestep mode when you're doing the squirt nozzle and holding L. And you can sidestep right past the invisible wall and then jump behind there and just get into the pipe. Thank God for that. It makes that level a lot nicer, even casually. It's like the one speedrunning trick where I'm like, if you're going to learn anything, learn that one. Because casually, that makes that level bearable at the very least. And then I have no idea what the movement even looks like here. The only thing I remember is you can do like a weird momentum spin jump off of this cube as it's rotating. But I was like, I don't want to bother with it. That's something that I feel like I would have to practice. So we played it safe and rolled in a nice like 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Or maybe 2 minutes, 11 seconds. No, that was 10 seconds. Higher into 10 seconds. Anyway. So like all those levels minus Serena 3. Serena 3 is pretty okay. All those levels were kind of rough. Then you get to Serena 5, and Serena 5, in my humble opinion, isn't that bad. But it's RNG hell, I hear. You either get a good pattern or you don't. In my experience though, and I mean, I guess knock on wood, right? You tend to get better patterns than not, or at least I do. Like I was playing, I kid you not, when I was doing my casual 120 shines run, I got the best RNG. And I feel like that happens to be quite often. So I feel like I'm high whenever I hear someone else talk about this level and they're like, the RNG sucks. I bet you it's one of those things where it's like I played the game for long enough and then I'm like, oh yeah, I get it now. I've thrown enough attempts at the wall and I've seen all the RNG patterns. But yeah, so essentially you want 3 fruit cycles from him on the little lottery machine, or slot machine, I mean, that he gives you. But he can only give it to you every other spin, minimum. And so you have to go through these cycles where he doesn't do anything. And you can like end them early by going underneath them, as far as I'm aware. And so we get good RNG, as it were, and get our second fruit cycle on schedule. And I was struggling to find a fruit because of all the damn bubbles in the way that I didn't have time to clear out. And then here he gives me the triple question marks, and I thought I was canceling. I don't think I was, though. I ended up deciding that I was not. I think I was doing it too early because he just kept giving it to me over and over again. I was like, something's not right here. And so I eventually, I think it was this time actually, I decided that I'm gonna wait a little bit longer before I cancel it. And then that seemed to work, so. You know, I let them fall on the ground, then I get a couple of coins. And then it suddenly works. Yeah, I get 3 fruit, and so I'm like, okay. Not the best luck, not the worst luck, I guess. I think if I played better, it would have been better luck, but... It is hard to say. And then I missed my ground pound here. You can like do like the preemptive ground pound. I thought I had more time before that actually happened, and I just didn't input it. So similar to Pianta 6, Serena 6 is more menial labor. And it's more just cleaning up goop. But instead of saving 10 Piantas, you just have to literally clean a bunch of goop. And this is one of the things that the Japanese version is actually worse for, because the threshold for how much goop you have to clear is stricter in the Japanese version than it is in the other versions. And when I did my 120 shines run, it wasn't that bad. I definitely did a lot better than I did in the actual speedrun. Isn't that ironic? Essentially, I just spam spray everywhere, and I kind of just hope for the best. The problem with the Japanese version also is that there's invisible goop. And so you either clean the invisible goop or you don't. And it kind of matters because it's so strict. And so I accidentally pressed Z and opened the map. Didn't mean to do that. Sometimes when you're spam spraying, you get trigger happy and you accidentally slip off into Z. Just me? Okay. Anyhow, I get done with this and I'm like, well, that didn't work. And then I kind of go back through a little bit and I'm like, oh, I missed some up there. I missed some down there. And then I'm like, I'm still not done. What is going on? And I decided to randomly start spam spraying a little bit because invisible goop being a thing. And no, you don't have to clean off the Nokis. They are covered in goop. But it turns out there was like a little bit over next to that other cabana on the far corner from the hotel owner. And that was what did it. One of the worst Serena 6 splits of all time. The good news is that we're out of Serena Beach now. So out of 7 levels, this is one of those worlds that you do the full 7 levels in, and I would say 5 of them just really suck. They're not great. This Shadow Mario and the banana clip one, which I believe is called Banana Split, but don't quote me. Those 2 levels, 3 and 7, are the only ones that I think are okay. Pretty easy. I didn't get him at the top of like the normal stairs, but I got him here, which is a good second place. If he gets above there, like if he starts running up the stairs, it can be really annoying. All right, let's evaluate Noki Bay. Noki Bay could be annoying, but no, it looks okay. I mean, of course, the eel is not fun, but everything else about it's okay. So it's gotta be Serena Beach. Serena Beach has gotta be the worst one. The only reason I'd be willing to say Bianco Hills over it is it similarly has a lot of annoying missions and a lot of like annoying RNG. But at least right now, I feel like Serena Beach edges it out. So I was completely messing up trying to get up there. When in the first level, a lot of the map geometry is just missing underneath goop. Like you have to clean off some goop to make it appear. And so your options for getting up here fast are relatively limited. But I end up eventually making my way up there after a full millennia passed. And then over here, I wasn't entirely sure how you're supposed to get up there normally. Maybe you just do it from the other side where the spring is, but I end up just kind of meandering up there, and then this fight's pretty easy. Instead of the last one where you just want to clip inside, you actually throw the bombs at him. And so you just want to stock a bomb, and you only throw at him after he throws his third one, so you have all three of them in a row to just throw. I guess you could theory craft it being faster for him to throw the bombs on top of the cork. Like if you get behind him, between him and the wall on top of the cork, it might be faster, but I feel like that's some... First of all, that'd be a lot harder, and then like that's something you do when you're really scrounging for like those extra couple of seconds of time save. Yeah, I've got a whole 30 minutes of time save to go. I'm chilling. I don't need that. I like Noki 2 a lot. It might be one of my favorite missions to play in the speedrun. It's like got the right amount of balance of like you do a fun clip, and then it has like some fun movement if you do it correctly to get up there. I completely forgot about the normal movement you would do to get up here, and so I ended up going in a slightly slower way. But I did a lot better than the first time around, so it wasn't that bad. So yeah, you grab the spring, and then you go up against this little corner, and if you align yourself correctly and throw the spring, you get clipped out of bounds. And then you can go straight to where the shine is without having to do the blooper refight for the third time. Imagine that. And I kind of overcorrected and was a little bit too far to the left, but it wasn't that bad. At least I got there. If you miss, you just die because you out of bounds, right? And fun fact, when I did my 120 shines, I did that with the rocket nozzle because I had the rocket nozzle on me. And I don't know if you can do a hoverless or not, but I ended up using like a rocket nozzle, like one rocket, to try and like get a little bit extra height and course correct, and then Y-cam turned, and it worked out barely. We're getting towards the end. Only a few more shines. So I'm pretty sure around this point of the speedrun, I was like, I think I might beat my PB. Because I felt like the time was pretty good coming into this part. And because it's been so long, I don't really remember how long it takes, right, to do the rest of it, but I'm like, it can't be that long. We have to get through Noki Bay 3 though, and it's just a red coin collection. I wasn't sure of the route, but I think I did the correct route, just a little bit slowly, of course, even for like my skill level, right? Because I wasn't sure what the route was. I was like, oh, look around, okay, we're going over there. And then I missed the shine sprite, or actually no, I don't miss the shine sprite. Huge win. All right, now the one of the worst shines in the game. I don't think anyone really likes this shine all that much, except for like the real homies that grind ILs on it and do some research and stuff like that. All the like the crazy nerdy stuff. This is the eel quote unquote boss fight. First of all, I do want to say though that the eel itself is a cool idea. Like his model is insane. I love it a lot. I was doing these spam sprays because I'd watched the Taz, and the Taz does those. But I'm pretty sure as a human, you can't do the spam sprays fast enough to make it save time, like propelling you backwards and downwards. But I was just doing it for the heck of it. Like, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't waste any time. Or at least the time waste would be negligible at my level. So then I started cleaning this guy's teeth, and I don't remember how to do this at all. The only thing I remember is, like, if you clean off one of his 4, I guess those would be, like, what, canine teeth, maybe? Or maybe molars? I don't know. The 4 teeth on the corners, the furthest edges, those ones will make him go back down. That's like the only thing I remember. And I wasn't 100% sure what the strat was. Like I couldn't really remember, so I just kind of cleaned his teeth like normal. Just kind of went and went. And then I know you're supposed to like get out of the way when he does his little does his little try to eat you animation. And I think you're supposed to bait him into doing that, so it like locks him into a loop. But I was not doing that. I was not skilled enough. And so I ended up doing this really slowly. Like I had him go down like every single time. And then this time he just goes down again for whatever reason. I'm not even sure why. And so I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And since we're waiting, I do want to say that I think this underwater area of Noki is like one of the coolest areas in the game because it's so huge for no reason. Like, there's so much empty space and it makes no sense. Like, it's so clear that there's like a lot of cut content. And I mean, it's no secret that Mario Sunshine's development was rushed, to say the least. And they also probably changed course on what their development was actually going to be in the middle of it. And so like this area is ripe with intrigue in that sense. Now, normally here, there's like a cutscene that you have to watch where the eel goes down and gives you the shine sprite, right? If you damage yourself and are in invincibility frames as that cutscene triggers, then you stay free to move while the cutscene's happening. I wasn't sure where the shine spawned, and so I was kind of just waiting for it to spawn so I could go to it, and it was luckily close by. And then I missed it, but we don't talk about that part. Now, we only have 4 shines left. We have the Noki 5, 6, and 7, and then the final shine. The Piantissimo race here, the only other one we do in the entire game, because the gelato one we just skip over is a joke. I'd say it's even easier than the Pianta Village one, which I guess makes sense because the Pianta Village one is theoretically the last one that you do, right? Casually speaking. But yeah, this one's not that bad. I like completely, I had a bad habit of over mashing my text skipping. And so I accidentally like jump dove off the edge at the beginning, but it doesn't matter. The auto scroller is very forgiving. So we take the shine. And finally, or well, not finally. Well, I guess in a way it's finally, right? This is the last secret level of the game that we do. And I think a lot of casual players will say this is the hardest secret in the game. Like, just straight up is the hardest secret. It tends to be like this, Rico 4, Bianco 6. Maybe one of the Serena ones, but I can definitely see this one being the worst. It's a really weird one. It's awkward. I don't remember at all the movement that you're supposed to do to get up here. Like, even I don't even have a general notion. So I just kind of did something and I guess it worked. And then I missed my spin jump wall kick at the beginning, which was kind of awkward, but it is what it is. Now this part, not that bad. This part though, as far as I know, you're supposed to get up on top of that tightrope. I don't know how you're supposed to do it. Because a lot of the time I just like fall off of it. Why? I have no clue. Either way though, I of course wind up making it through the beginning, no problem, more or less. And then from here it's more or less smooth sailing. You can input flub and then just die, and that feels really bad, but I wouldn't say the execution is particularly hard. And then I missed my dive into the Shine Sprite. I wanted to feel cool. I was gonna ground pound, and I think I did it like slightly too late, and so I was already on the ground and instead got the camera lock behind you. But at least I didn't die. That would have been infinitely worse. Alright, now we have our final Shadow Mario. The 7th and last one. Look at this guy. He thinks it's hot out. So I decided to come over here and kind of shoot at him. I know that you can like kill him on this little ledge as he's coming up here. And then I accidentally backflipped for some reason. I don't know why I pressed the A button. Either way, he got away from me. And so I end up coming over here and he knocks me over. And I accidentally do some like weird walk-off spin jump wall kick with a Y cam thrown in there. It was a weird moment. And then I knock him down like right there, which was it's better than I usually do. Like if he gets up above, like past that beginning, then I usually don't kill him for like a long time. It feels like. But I got him right here, which wasn't that bad. Definitely could have been worse. And now we have the end of the game, Corona Mountain, into the final boss fight. Of course, we have Flooded Plaza, which unlocks Corona Mountain, right? The slow, dramatic zoom out. So I just kind of make up something to get over there. That felt fast to me. I was like, sure, we'll bounce off the umbrella. And then in here, I end up not getting a jump off after my spin, which was really awkward. Really awkward. Like I messed up my first spin jump, but it didn't actually end up mattering. I still made the normal cycle that I usually do. I also missed that spin jump. It's funny because it's like at the time I didn't really feel nervous, but then it's like you wouldn't be able to tell that by watching me play. The way I'm playing right now, it's like this guy must be sweating bullets. Nah, I was kind of chilling. Maybe I was chilling too much. Maybe that was the problem. So I've never learned how to do fast boat, and I don't intend to for a while anyway. Maybe at some point, but I have to like get good first before I want to do that. Either way, right here on the spot, I remember I was like, oh yeah, you can do rocket storage on this little ledge right here and get up there like really fast. And then I flubbed rocket storage for like the next minute. Yeah, that was awkward. If you don't know what rocket storage is, you can store your rocket blast, because normally you just like use your rocket blast, right? But if you do this crazy thing with the sidestep mode in the squirt nozzle, hold it, like continue to hold L while you switch over to your rocket nozzle, you can like cancel the rocket going off by exiting sidestep mode. So you have to like time it correctly. And I ended up getting it with charging the rocket slower, but I only did 2 of them and it wasn't enough height, which was really awkward. I then thought that I was high enough to do the spin jump to get up there. I wasn't. So the 1-up bailed me out from having to get more water because the 1-up restored the water. And then I finally get my shit together and get the spin jump cloud skip thing. So yeah, that was like a full minute or minute and a half of just garbage trying to get up here. And one other thing about rocket storage, I believe when you're storing rockets and you use multiple of them at once, they like stack exponentially. So it's not like you just use 2 rockets. You use like a lot more than that, weirdly. Like the more you use, the crazier it gets. I could be wrong. Maybe I just don't know. And then to activate your rocket storage, you want to like sidestep off of a ledge. And for whatever reason, that just makes it activate. If you like jump, I believe it cancels it. Now for this final fight, the final fight is like deceptively tricky. Like it's really easy casually speaking, like you just do it and then it's over. But when you're trying to go fast, you have to do these like rocket jumps at like a weird angle to get back onto the hot tub with a quicker line, right? And those are sometimes hard. Like the angle itself isn't that bad if you're like thinking about it and you're not brain dead like I am. You charge the rocket as you're doing your ground pound so that you can do it like instantly. I was having a skill issue like this whole time where I was ground pounding too early, so I was just missing like the hitbox for the ground pound on these little ledges. And then I dove accidentally before my rocket went off, which cancels your rocket. I die a lot on this final boss. It's really bad. On the bright side, that's like 4 minutes of time save. Next run, 4 or 5 minutes of time save, maybe 6 minutes. But yeah, the goop that is in the tub can hit you when you break one of these, especially if Bowser does his little ground pound at the same time. It's kind of like RNG. Sometimes you just get screwed over by the hot tub goop. And then here, I get a wall kick off of one of the sections of the crumbling hot tub arm thing. And so I accidentally wall kick off of it and go in the wrong direction. That one was weird. It was kind of funny, but of course, when you're doing the run, you roll your eyes so far back into your skull that it hurts. So the hot tub goop, I was thinking about it. just like randomly last night. I feel like the hot tub goop is really interesting physics-wise. Like, I wonder how hard that was to program, because it's kind of like the weirdest gelatinous goop water physics I've ever seen in a game. And I feel like for 2001, 2002, this is a crazy thing to try and get the GameCube to render. But I guess they made it work, you know. And GG. So there it is. That's the baseline run. Like I said, I wanted to get a time, just like, first of all, to have a time for my splits so I can compare, right? And then I kind of want, I was like, it'd be fun to have like a baseline time of like, without practicing, you know, I didn't grind ILs. I didn't look up any of the new movement tech or whatever. I didn't update any of my strats. I just want to see like where I'm at and see what my baseline is for where I go from here to improve, right? Have something concrete time-wise to compare against. And then I PB'd, which was crazy. My previous PB was 149, an hour 49. So I got like a 4-minute PB. I was not expecting that. Until about the end of the run, like I said, well, I was in Noki Bay and I'm like, maybe. And then I almost flubbed it because I died like a shit ton against Bowser, but you know. I had so much extra time to spare that even with all the dying, I still came out ahead. But I think it's really promising. There's you know, again, like another like 10 to 15 minutes of time save. That's just play cleaner. Don't die. Don't miss the skip like 5 times, or in Gelato Beach skip's case like 30 times or whatever it is. If you just like do things first try, do things cleanly, you save like 15 minutes, which is crazy to think about. And very encouraging. And it's like, well, if that's without practice, right? Like if I just like execute better on what I already know how to do, then it's like, well, what if I do practice like new strats and like actually like try to like grind ILs for better movement? What would happen then? Wouldn't that be crazy? But this is kind of a background thing. I wouldn't call this like a main focus that I have. So if you were worried about that and you're still watching this for some reason, don't worry. The normal channel stuff is gonna definitely take precedence. I'm gonna continue, of course, with Persona 3 until that's done. And then, of course, Pokemon's always there. And this is more of like oh, I have some free time and I enjoy speedrunning this game. So I'm gonna, you know, we'll take a crack at it. I might spend some time learning some stuff or whatever. But for a first run, I can't complain. Like, it had its fair share of first run tomfoolery that happened. Gelato Beach skip was very painful to watch back, in particular. But yeah, I mean, like I said, very encouraging for the future. My overarching long-term goal is to get a sub 125, which I believe, yeah, that must be the threshold for the category rules for any percent, for them to be like, well, if you're gonna get a sub 125 time, it has to be on real hardware. You can't play on emulator or anything like that. And then you also need video proof. If I can get past that threshold, I'll be pretty happy. So I'd say that's my goal. So I need to shave off 20 minutes. That should be doable. Again, knock on wood. Famous last words, but thanks everyone for tuning in and watching. I'll see everyone next time.